And now we're live because I was just doing a Marcel Marceau imitation. I could see the thing that said, your mic is still muted. Who's got the control of that? Me, Christopher Wilson, your host, also known as Big Girl, as in Big Girl and Friends. I'm getting good at that. For those of viewers, like everything's in reverse. So I want to go to the right, but it's actually to the left, to the left, to the left, going to the left. Anyway, I will stop all that nonsense. So we have had an amazing second week of our stream. We've had brilliant guests with us for our second of 2 weeks. I can hardly believe that it's already been 2 weeks. I actually have to pull up my sheet to make sure that I acknowledge all the beautiful people that have been on the show. But I wanted to remind you the whole purpose of Big Girl and Friends is that this is an ongoing fundraiser for the Actors Fund of Canada, also known as the AFC. And we are encouraging viewers to donate to AFC Helps, because as long as all of us are being affected by this crazy coronavirus, and that we're in this unprecedented time of social isolation and self-isolation and social distancing, the artistic community across Canada will be particularly vulnerable, as we are not in a position to work, as no one can come to our workplace. So financial ramifications are enormous, as well as emotional ramifications. So incredible organizations such as the AFC support us while we're all in this unfortunate situation. So I encourage you all to donate generously. And if there's anyone in your community that you think would be interested in this ongoing stream, we're going to be continuing for the foreseeable future. Ryan and I will see how our energy goes, but we're certainly committed until the end of April. And we will be continuing with lots of wonderful guests representing the incredible musical theater community from coast to coast, veterans of Broadway, off-Broadway, Mirvish, Shaw, Stratford, Charlottetown, you name it, we've got them. They're fantastic. I think I've got my little thing. People who appeared on the show this week, we had the brilliant Erica Peck rocking it out, star of Mirvish's Rock of Ages and that Queen musical that we love so much. We had the beautiful Michael DeRose, who has been Sugar Bum in Ross Petty's productions of the Pantos. We had the gorgeous Bruce Dow, fresh off of the Broadway production of Diana, the musical based on the life and journey of Princess Diana. We had the fabulous Merit Award-winning Tara Jackson for her performance as Celie in The Color Purple. Last night, we had the smooth stylings of Gavin Hope. And tonight, we have a beautiful, super hero-tastic guest that we're going to bring into the stream shortly. And we've had an awesome week, and we look forward to continuing with you. But enough about me. It's time for me to welcome to the stream my co-host, my partner in crime. Get that? My partner in crime. Bum, bum, ba, da, dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Ryan Kelly.
Hey, everyone. I know you don't recognize me in these glasses because I'm trying to hide my real identity. I'm a mild-mannered high school student today, and I woke up this morning. I was feeling kind of lonely, and I thought, gee, I want to go to school. So I broke out my cornflakes and chocolate milk and got out my backpack, and I'm ready to go to school. So now here's the real me, so we don't get a glare the whole time. We can see it over and over again. Well, no, I kind of went from
Ryan, it just made
I'm
me
a beauty school dropout,
beauty
right?
school dropout. No graduation day for you.
No, not for me, barely. Actually, I wanted to talk about that after I talked about the wall of hair I'm giving tonight. So I wanted to go full high school, and I went to high school at the time of like the first season of 90210.
Wow.
So we did this like very Luke Perry wall of hair thing on the front.
Yes, we did.
And so I clearly do not have as much hair as I did when I was 17.
Yeah.
Or just in different places, I suppose. But I kind of went for a bit of a collegiate look.
It started up here, right? It just moved.
It's just gravity, right? Like the worst was the moment when it was moving through this part of my face, right? I couldn't take a good picture. So anyway, so I pulled out my old backpack from school, and I found in the pocket. Now, where did I put it?
Is this like a treasure chest?
Well, it kind of is a little bit. I found my old high school newspaper called the Bradford a high school mouthpiece.
Where did you go to high school? Tell our viewers.
I went to high school in Bradford District High, home of the Bugs.
Bradford, Ontario, right?
Yep. Just never eat. Northeast of the Holland Marsh, south of Barrie. Right. And what else did I find in this bag? It wasn't a great time. I was a very bad high school student. I didn't pass a lot of classes. I failed gym, and I failed drama, and I failed music.
You failed drama? Really?
I failed everything. I had an issue with authority. I was angry at the world. Well, wouldn't you? Look at me. Here's a picture of me in grade 11. Right?
Wow.
That is the face that the world united against as the kid that nobody liked in high school.
I have never
the drama freaks.
I have never seen that hair, Ryan. That's amazing.
No one has ever even seen this picture. I don't know what I was thinking this day. Now, the year before was worse. It was like Robert Plant. It was like from head to toe Jesus. So this was an improvement. This haircut came from my friend, Laura, who cut my hair in the hallway one day. So high school was a very interesting experience for me. The year after I failed all those classes, I stayed for an extra year just for fun because I wanted to take classes with some of my friends, and I won the Simcoe County Education Award. So whatever high school counted for, it got me from A to B. I also wanted to show off my first edition Garbage Pail Kid cards that I found.
Wow, how old are those?
These are from grade 7. These are like 1985, 86. There's Eviletti and Cyndi Lauper.
They're in mint condition.
Girl, I don't let stuff fall apart. I hold on to the treasures. These are the treasures, right?
I just let my career fall apart. That's all I got going on.
I just let my life in solitude fall apart. Right? Look at me. I think I'm 15 right now.
That's amazing.
Anyway,
we're gonna have.
What else I have? Wait. Sorry. Look, I put up the original Martin Guerre poster for tonight because
beautiful.
Tonight would have been this weekend would have been our show of Martin Guerre this weekend. So
memory would have been the second performance of Toronto Musical Concert's performance of Leslie Arden's Martin Guerre. Wow, that's beautiful.
It was nice. It was a really nice poster, I thought, and it's got the whole cast list on the side, and it was really lovely. Anyway, it's on a plaque, which kind of it's been plaqued.
It's been laminated and plaqued.
No. It's like that thing called like placket. Remember this? And
we have so much to talk about with our guest tonight. So I'm going to bring him into.
I'm going full high school here for our guest.
So high school. So I'm assuming most of our viewers probably know the brilliance of this fellow that we're welcoming to the screen.
I'm rambling as if I smoked Degrassi all afternoon, but I promise you I didn't.
Yeah, our star. Our guest tonight was one of the leading performers in Degrassi, The Next Generation. He has been seen on stages in Canada. He's appeared on the Broadway as an original company member of Beautiful, the Carole King story. He was slinging webs on, let's see if I get the sound of that.
Spider-Man, turn off the dark.
Turn off the dark.
That's what it's called.
It's true. He appeared in American Idiot. He appeared in Billy Elliot. We've seen them all. You know what? We'll talk about him. Let's bring him
I can't wait to see him.
Mr. Jake Epstein.
Come on in, Jake. Yeah.
Hi guys.
Way back, Nanny.
I always, you know what? When I thought about how I would walk into a musical theater talk show, I thought I would play Joseph in The Amazing Technicolor Dream.
That is a theme, man. That's a move,
right.
actually.
It's also Andrew Lloyd Webber is streaming his musicals right now, so I've been very excited.
Have you watched what have you watched? What have you watched so far?
Well, I actually haven't watched it yet, but I think Joseph just started streaming today, so we'll find out if it holds up.
Are you a Lloyd Webber fan?
Yes, I am a fan.
Yeah,
I am a fan.
Did you see Cats?
No, I didn't.
What?
Actually. I know. I should. I'm afraid that it's gonna ruin
It
everything.
will.
Is
But
that your
it's so
self-tape?
worth it. It's so worth it. There's on YouTube there's now the little clips of the butthole edition.
Oh wow.
Because they had, well, I'm not kidding. They apparently there's a cut of the movie Cats out there that has all the CGI'd cat butts.
Yeah,
So-
you talk about this. I got nothing on that.
I have no words to that. How do you respond to that? Is that what people were upset about? That's realistic enough.
Well, I think they took them out, but who knows? Who knows? But I mean,
I
they
don't
left
know.
all sorts of things, and they left human hands in there. They left running
I haven't
shoes.
seen an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical in earnest in a very long time.
Right.
Wow.
But I it's Andrew, right?
You gotta love it anyway.
You gotta love it anyway.
You gotta love it anyway.
So,
So
Jake,
Jake,
I mean,
welcome.
so many things. It's so great to have you here. I mean,
Thank you for
Ryan,
having me.
Ryan and I
Yeah.
have been talking about this. I mean, we're all, in this interesting predicament and social isolation, having all these amazing, beautiful people. So, yeah, you're one of the beautiful big girl and friends. So welcome to the party.
Thank you.
So,
Honored to be a friends. of the
so
big-
and your older sister was one of our guests on the first week, which is the first entry point of conversation I wanted to talk about was your family. I mean, you've got like an off the hook, crazy, gorgeous, talented, amazing family. We'll start with your mom. Let's start with the bastions of the family. Your beautiful mother, Kathy Kaser, who is a novelist. Who so yeah, tell us about. I mean, I know about your mom, but tell us about your mom and the beautiful things that she writes. And
my mom writes mostly stories about the Holocaust for young readers. My grandparents were all survivors, and so that history means a lot to my family.
Of course.
And my mom grew up hearing these childhood stories, like bedtime stories about the war, and my grandparents told it to my mom in a way that didn't terrify her. They were stories of heroicism and they were stories of bravery, and so I feel like my mom has sort of continued that legacy in being able to tell these stories to young readers. And she's a hero. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, and yes, and your mom has won many awards for her.
She's
beautiful
definitely
work.
watching and very proud right now. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're very proud of your mom.
Hi,
No
Dave.
kidding.
What's up? Yeah.
Big fans of Kathy Kaser. And I was going to say, so growing up with your mom, did your mom share these stories when you and Gabby were young?
She did. Yeah. Yeah. She spoke about that history really openly. And we, as you know, my sister, we were really curious kids and we asked a lot of questions.
Of course.
And my sister, Gubby, shares the name of my grandmother.
Oh, beautiful.
Who was a survivor. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So what is it like being in a family full of such creative and expressive people? I mean, who have so many amazing stories to tell?
Amazing. I mean, I've never known anything else. It's not just my sister. Like all my cousins are musicians and in the arts, and you know,
could do like a whole Partridge Family.
Dinners at the Epsteins are big musical events.
That sounds fantastic. Oh, yeah, it is very retro. It's actually not even a high school coat. It's actually one of my dad's old. It says country music store, but I thought it kind of like. I thought it's like a school.
What's your
coat.
necklace?
What's my necklace?
Those are your headphones.
Actually, this is probably how I wore these in high school more than on my head. So my necklace is my headphones.
And I've always, I mean, having known your family as long as I've been fortunate enough to know, I knew your sister before I met you officially, but like I've always, it's your dad who is the sort of like, he's like the steady Eddie.
Rock.
Dad is a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken.
Ian Epstein is a lawyer. Yes, supporting his. Thank God for Ian Epstein supporting his artistic family.
Absolutely. And where's your father?
He, him and my mom were the ones that introduced my sister and I to theater and to Broadway.
Yeah.
What's the first show you ever saw?
Big the Musical.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
What were you like?
Flaherty, I believe.
Okay.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
I believe I'm right. I found out later
keyboard. Right.
It was a big flop.
Okay.
It was.
Didn't do very well. When I saw it, it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was amazing. There was all kids. Ah, there she is.
We love you too, Mom. We love you too.
Yeah, it was a chorus of all kids
Yeah.
singing and dancing, and yeah, Gubby Epstein and myself were hooked.
Gobsmacked, huh?
And you guys used to go. You guys used to go on. I mean, so you recently, as recently as this past Toronto Fringe, performed this brilliant one-man show.
Thank you.
And the title was, so I don't mess it up, "Boy Falls from the Sky," correct?
Yes, correct.
And
the show.
It was ostensibly.
I give man soon off the duck. Yes.
But it was. I love that you did that with a Jewish.
I don't know why I did that with a bubby accent. It felt right.
I love it. But it was ostensibly like, you know, I mean, we're doing like an apocalyptic version of your show. It was sort of a, you know, it was a personal sharing of what your career journey's been like. So some of the things we learned. So you were talking about how your family introduced you guys to the Broadway. You guys used to go on these big family trips, right?
Yes.
Tell us about those trips. What was it like being in the backseat with your sister?
Oh, God.
Oh, your sister just corrected us. It was Maltby and Shire.
Maltby and Shire.
Oh,
Which
correct.
is right, too, actually.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gubs, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
What was it like being
that mistake again?
What was it like being in the backseat with that crazy sister of yours?
Well, we sort of, you know, we would listen to Broadway albums all the way down to New York, and my sister and I would try to imitate the songs that we heard. So we would be like blasting Les Mis and like, you know, just like belting for Jesus and
all the voices.
Discovered her parts. I was convinced that I could be Javert, even though I was a soprano. I was like,
yes.
I was like, Stars was my anthem. So we would just play, like we would just imitate famous voices and play all the way down and drove my parents crazy, and you know, we're kind of weird artsy siblings. Yeah.
So you went to an arts high school. I know this because I actually have taught at your alma mater, as did your sister, right?
I think she has.
No. What I mean is that you both went to Earl Haig, Claude Watson, right?
We did. Yeah.
So Earl Haig.
You guys are Claudies.
Yes. Earl Haig Secondary School in the Claude Watson School for the Arts. I know you played the MC in Cabaret, if I'm not mistaken. Because I've seen the photos at school. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you were on a
in that production, Sarah Farb, who is on one of my best friends. She's on Broadway doing Harry Potter. She's a Stratford star. She was Sally Bowles in the production.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I didn't know that she was your Sally. I didn't look closely.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow. And Ryan's best friend.
My best friend Graham was Cliff, and I just remember at the time he had these like long blonde dreadlocks that he would like tie. Yeah, I know. High school. He would just tie and had this kind of weird like nuclear family wig.
If it's any consolation, Jake, my high school did a play called Tea House of the August Moon, where we all painted our faces and our eyes to look Asian as ensemble. No. Yes. One of the darker periods of my theatrical career. Although I did get thrown over a man who was playing a sumo wrestler's shoulder and broke my nose on stage. So I call that a highlight comparatively to the racism that we were perpetuating at the time.
Wow.
So I would buy a Cliff with blonde dreadlocks. I think, I mean, maybe in the time you made this play.
That's amazing.
Actually.
The 2000s, definitely. Yeah.
So I'm aware that, you know, you started sort of working in the industry at a fairly young age. You were sort of auditioning for film and TV in the high school area, and you were involved in a little show about high school called Degrassi: The Next Generation. And I mean, I grew up on Degrassi Junior High.
Hello, Ryan.
Ryan and I grew up on like the original show when you were just
I grew up on the Kids of Degrassi Street.
Right.
I watched that when I was like 7, 8 years old on CBC. Yeah. And then it became Degrassi Junior High.
Right.
And then Degrassi High.
My
the next
ed class in school was our teacher putting on VHS tapes of Degrassi and leaving.
Right.
Wow.
So that was my introduction to the show.
Hey, so I got a new friend. Yeah, that's it. You and me, Jake.
Jake, how old? What grade were you in when you started working on the production?
Oh, The production of Degrassi?
Yeah, like when did you start on the show? Yeah.
I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Hey, that's my sister-in-law. Hey, Mel.
So I was just gonna say also too. Like,
sorry?
are we gonna are we gonna get a phone call from Drake as a surprise guest
For
today?
sure.
Is
Yeah,
that
he's for sure watching.
okay? Great.
He's definitely
Hey
watching.
D.
Drake, what's
Hey.
up? Yeah, he'll call in.
Hey
He'll
from
call
the
in.
sick.
You know what? So we got a request. I want to come back to Degrassi. Would you be willing to sing your first tune of the
Sing
night?
us the song, Jake.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Of course
Please.
you can. You can tell us anything you want.
When I was auditioning for Degrassi, I remember going to the studio to audition. There was like a waiting room full of guys, and this older man came out, and everyone was like starstruck. And he kind of like looked around and pointed at me and asked me if I wanted to run lines with him. And I was like, sure. I thought he was the reader. So I went and ran lines with him. I later found out it was Pat Mastriani. It was Joey Jeremiah.
Oh, no way.
Because I hadn't really seen the show that much.
Yeah.
I didn't really know.
I had a crush on him.
I used to ask him, like, why did you ask me to run lines? And he's like, I don't know. You look like you wanted to run lines. You look nervous.
I did a TV show with Pat Mastriani too.
Sort of. Oh yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
So we kind of built this relationship and then got to audition together, and he kind of advocated for me.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's cool. When you did, forgive me, before you Dog Sees God, that was the
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah, did I do that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Sort of a very contemporary view of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, like sort of a twisted 18-year-old R-rated.
Yeah.
R-rated
Yeah.
angst.
But do I remember correctly when I saw that up on Young and Egg? Were there some cast members from Degrassi in that show with you on stage?
Yeah, it was like half the cast members were people
Degrassi
from.
alumni.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm having like all these flashbacks.
Yeah. No, I love doing it.
That's amazing.
I don't know what this means, but I wanted to ask.
Will you
Hey,
dance,
Jake, will you dance like Drake for smiles? For
Or for us,
coin?
maybe.
uncle-in-law? Hello. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's really just my family watching right now, just so you
That's
know.
quite
no, not at
good.
all.
Hey, fam, sing
So
us the
you're,
song now, Jake.
Yes, and what is this song from? Tell us about this song.
So I wanted to sing the opening number to my solo show from the Fringe that you mentioned before.
Yeah. From the sky.
Boy Falls from the Sky. So I'll just quickly say, I mean, the show is about my childhood dream of being on Broadway and then my adult story of trying to achieve that dream.
Right.
And it kind of pulls back the curtain on the realities of a life in show business.
Awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
Take it away, bud.
I'll quickly say Daniel Abrahamson, who's the incredible music director, is normally helping me accompany me. So picture very tasteful piano accompaniments happening. Okay. Show business lures people who didn't get enough love, attention, or approval early in life and have grown up to become bottomless, gaping vessels of terrifying, abject need. Please laugh. Welcome to my show about show business. Give them the old razzle, dazzle. Give them an act that's and the reaction with passion. It's 2 minutes before the Saturday night production of Spider-Man the Musical on Broadway. I don't go on every show, and tonight I'm off. So I'm eating my dinner, a large bowl of beef pad thai takeout. And it is so good. All of a sudden, Kat, our stage manager, comes into my dressing room and calmly tells me there's been an emergency and that I'm going on in 2 minutes. Oh no. 3 crew members come running into my room, doing my hair, getting my mic on and helping me into my Spider-Man spandex. I'm rushed to the stage as I hear the sound of 2,000 programs rustling after they announce there's been a cast change, holding in a big fart with beef pad thai sweating down my forehead and my heart pounding in my chest. I sing, give 'em the old razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle on. Give 'em the show that's so splendiferous. Row after row will grow vociferous. Without auditioning, I get offered a part in a show with a lot of dancing. I'm surprised I get offered this part. I show up to the first rehearsal and realize I'm surrounded by the cast of So You Think You Can Dance Canada. I'm in way over my head. After a terrible rehearsal, the director comes up to me and asks me why I took this part if I couldn't dance. So I ask her why she offered me this part without making sure I could dance. She fires me on the spot. Give 'em the old flim flam comic, fool and fractum. How can they hear the truth? Although I'm a fake enough finagle, they'll never know you're just a bagel. I'm doing a musical where my character never leaves the stage. I spend the entire show sitting on a couch drinking from beer bottles filled with water. Well, opening night in Los Angeles, I am pumped. I am really feeling it. I am chugging way too many beers and realize that I have to pee really badly. And I have no choice but to sit there on stage, crossing my legs and trying to hold it in. But I realize I'm not going to make it. I have a 60-second window before my next song. So I run off stage, down the hall, down the stairs, through the doors, to the bathroom, then up the stairs, down the hall, and back on stage without anyone noticing. I get a nice mention in the LA Times. Epstein's performance was soulful, writhing in agony. Give 'em the whole razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle, to tap it, to tap. To tap it, to tap. Show 'em the first ring sorcerer you are. Whoa, long as you keep way off balance, how can you spot you've got no talents? I'm doing a show where the director wants me to get more emotional for the final scene. A scene where I find out my character's true love is dead. I'm supposed to scream in anguish at the top of my lungs. After struggling with this scene for weeks, one night as I go to exit, I accidentally bash my kneecap on the side of the set. I limp on stage with this excruciating pain shooting up and down my legs. I burst into tears. I crumple to the floor and scream in anguish. After the show, the director comes to find me with my knees covered in ice packs. He tells me the final scene was perfect. Razzle dazzle on, razzle dazzle on, razzle dazzle on, and they'll make you a star.
Yeah! That's fantastic. That answers all my questions that I had for you for the show. So thanks for coming. That was great. Okay, so I guess I'll check in with you guys next week. Later, Chris.
Jake,
that is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful storytelling vehicle with that song. Well done.
It's very fun to do. One of the highlights of working on the show was collaborating with Robert McQueen, who's my favorite director in the country, and we had a lot of fun putting the show together.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Having had the privilege of seeing your show, Jake, one thing I'm just going to mirror, we had when we had Bruce Dow on the show earlier this week, was just the opportunity to speak candidly and openly about the balance between exactly what you just demonstrated in your song, the razzle dazzle, the dream of being on stage, and then the realities of negotiating that career, right? Like the good, the bad, the ugly, the isolation, everything that comes with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like any sort of impressing seeming career, there's a reality behind it. And of course, in show business, which is the most impressive.
Glamorous.
People don't always know what goes on behind the scenes. And it was an amazing creating the show was an amazing opportunity to tell my story of of my experience in New York, which wasn't always smooth and
Well, I want to get into a couple things. If I can backtrack to Degrassi. So you're 15 years of age and you're doing this very iconic show. Being an adolescent, you know, and obviously there's this huge star base. Can you recall now as a grown adult, you know, married to a fantastic partner? I mean, if you think back to that time in high school, what was the emotional? What were some of the challenges that came at that time in your career with that you know, in alignment with the opportunity? Like, was it hard to balance being a normal student, you know, achieving at school? What did that look like for you back then?
It's hard to totally remember. I mean,
I get it.
You know, it was a long time ago, I got to tell you. You know, it was sort of like going to my second high school. So
right.
There were people that I was really close with in the cast. There were people that I wasn't as close with in the cast. Yeah, we would hang out, we would party together. Yeah, I mean, it was certainly strange because I went to a normal high school. I mean, it was Claude Watson, which was an art school, but it was a public school.
Yeah.
A lot of the Degrassi cast went to a specialty school for like sort of like a lot of Olympic gymnasts and a lot of like young people that couldn't be in school all day long.
Right.
So I was really grateful that I had like a normal high school experience. I feel like it's allowed me to stay relatively normal as a person.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was honestly, I think of it as like my second high school.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to briefly interrupt you. An exciting shout out. Thank you for our first donation tonight, Merle Garb, for your beautiful contribution of $50. Thank you on behalf of
Merle.
Much appreciated. That's beautiful. So when you got into sort of, you know, some of the more sort of mega musical type shows, I'm trying to think without looking at your resume. I remember what came first? Was it Spring Awakening, American Idiot, or Billy Elliot? What was the succession there?
Spring Awakening.
So Spring Awakening was your first foray into the big American show.
Yeah, I had just I went to the National Theater School, and
Montreal, right?
Out of school, I did Dog Sees God. I did a Ross Petty panto with Paul Patty, who just commented a little while ago.
Right. Yeah.
And I had auditioned for Spring Awakening before, and they'd actually told me that I was too tall to ever be in Spring Awakening.
Really?
There's a song that you reference in your show about that, isn't it?
In my show about it. And I was I'm not that tall. Like I was devastated. I'm like, how tall am I? It like really made me self-conscious. All my short friends were like, fuck you. Like, what's your, you know, like, how dare you?
You're not as tall as a big girl, but it's fine.
How tall? Well, how tall are you?
I mean, I'm like 6'2". You know, it was a tall kid, I guess.
Yeah.
Tall. Anything over 5'10" is considered tall.
Yeah. I used two resumes. I use 5'11" and 6 feet because psychologically 6 feet just gives the impression that you're tall. Yeah. So if it says average, I always say that I'm 5'11". I don't
know what average is anymore.
I think at 5'10".
Yeah, whatever median weight. But you were told you were too tall.
And then I got a call from my agent saying that they hired a taller Wendla, like a taller.
Oh,
right, yeah.
So you match better.
All of a sudden, I was the right height, and
they raised the roof on the set.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that show, I have an earworm from that show. That if I'm ever walking fast somewhere, I breathe in the pitches. I don't know, like I breathe with pitch in, like in my head to touch me for 10 years. Yeah. For some reason, I've done the whoa. I hear that in my head. Whatever that character's line is, who just wails in "Touch Me." That is what comes to mind every time I'm in a rush somewhere for some reason. So it's a show that just gets inside you.
The music is gorgeous.
Yeah. How was that experience playing a character who lives in a world
on stage?
What's that?
I showed my ass on
stage.
Yes.
Isn't there a story about your butt relative to
butt?
your?
This is just the whole show. This is my one-man show.
Well,
Yeah,
kind of,
there's
yeah.
a story about my family coming and my sister strategically getting seats as far to the side as possible so she could see as little of me as possible. Yeah, you know, it was I was such a huge fan of that show.
Yeah.
I remember vividly going to see that show on Broadway with my family one summer,
Mm-hmm.
and as someone who was sort of a lover of theater and rock and roll, and it was just like everything in this show, and so to kind of get to be in your dream show was a huge moment. It actually took me a long time to not be so nervous.
Yeah.
I was so worried of like ruining it. Like I knew the potential of it.
Yeah. Well, you were invested in it, right?
But I just loved it. I don't think I've ever been in a show where I just believed in it so much. So it was a real joy to do.
And you were on the touring company, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long were you with the show? How long did you perform?
I did it for over a year.
Okay.
Did you do that with Steffi D?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, cool.
Steffi D. Domenico?
Yeah, I usually say it right. Di Dominic Antonio.
There you go. Nice.
Impressive.
So, Spider-Man preceded Beautiful. Is that correct?
Spider-Man was my Broadway debut.
Yeah, and like what a debut!
What a story that whole show has.
We were so aware. Of course, this was the musical that was like eating up like millions of billions and trillions of dollars.
And U2 was associated with it, and
breaking
Tamor and
bodies. Yeah.
Rewrites and so what's your story, what's your vision through the whole story, that journey there?
Sorry, repeat that.
Abject terror, like what was the lens that you were living in at that time with that show?
I mean, it was a combination of so many things.
Yeah.
Firstly, getting cast in a Broadway show as Spider-Man, like the most infamous show,
iconic,
where like late night guests were like bashing Spider. Like it was, I felt like I was at the epicenter of Broadway theater. Like it was just, it was just absolutely insane. I mean, you know, I was cast about a year into the run, so a lot of the terrible and just horrifying things happened before I joined the cast. So people joked that I sort of had probably the greatest experience of anyone in that cast. I came in, all these safety measures were in place.
Yeah.
And had a blast. Like,
what was the most cool thing you got to do in that show? Like when you think back and just like, I never thought I would get slingshot around like this or whatever. Like, what is?
I have to jump in as an audience member because Gavin and I, my partner, got to see Jake perform this on Broadway, and the show like nothing had ever been technically attempted like was done in Spider-Man. I mean, there were aerial battles.
Yeah.
Circus, and you know the way it worked is there were about 20 performers played Spider-Man, like real acrobats. So I would like put on the mask and like kind of start off stage, and then the like acrobat would swing on crazy backflips, and then I would like run on out of breath. So I like got all the glory for all this stuff that I wasn't actually doing.
Right, you just like got to take off your mask and smile.
Oh yeah, I mean I had it the best for sure.
Except for when you let that when you get to land on the balcony.
That is very cool. Yes, at the end of the show, Peter Parker takes off his mask. He takes off and he swings around the theater, landing on the first balcony railing facing the audience.
right in front of your mother, if I'm not mistaken.
My first show is my whole family. We're sitting.
They must have lost their minds completely.
Yeah, it was beyond anything.
That's
amazing. Like that was my reaction. Was like, this is hilarious.
Well, it was just like it's like being a kid. I mean, it's like being a kid on a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely. I love roller coasters, and I loved being thrown around in physical theater, and so I Yeah, I really loved it.
I mean, not to dwell on anything negative, but did you sustain any significant injuries during the show?
I mean, I did, like, I sprained my wrists.
Oh yeah.
In the show, and it sort of only really affected me right afterwards. It was sort of sustained
Impact.
hard landings to my hands, and
Yeah.
but yeah, there again in my solo show that I keep referring to, I kind of tell my whole story of being injured in Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild experience. It really was.
Well, we're glad the wrists are back intact because that gives you
Now you can
to
play your guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Another lovely donation just came in from Laura Crane for $10. Every little bit helps. Thank you, Laura. It says,
Thank you, Laura.
and friends, and we're thanking you. We appreciate it. So, Jake, would you be willing to share a second tune with us as you're drinking your vodka? No, I'm kidding.
It's definitely vodka.
And I love that you're playing for yourself tonight. That's awesome. Thank you for that.
I just thought, why not? Sort of give me a chance to play a little bit.
And you know,
and did you
if
shave
anybody
today?
important is watching this, you know, and they're just like, oh, he plays
Did you,
guitar too.
I
You
think I
know,
asked this earlier,
Right.
but I was
right?
like,
That's why I'm doing all this.
you can be in Donna Garner's company. We were talking about this.
Actually, this is my audition for Donna Garner's.
Donna, pay attention.
So,
yes.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say, if my ears serve me correctly, the opening chords I just heard is a beautiful show that your sister was a part of.
Yes. So I'm gonna sing something from Once, which is one of my favorite musicals.
I'm singing the girl's part here alone. Then.
Yeah, my sister was the standby for Trish Lidstrom in the Toronto production. I feel like she told the story when she was on.
Yes, she did. I made her tell it.
Exactly. That didn't see that episode. She got to go on famously once in Once.
Yeah, she packed out the Mervish Theater. We were like, my mom and I. We were like,
yeah, it was like it was all of her friends, all of our family.
Oh, it was amazing.
I remember sitting in the aisle, and the girl walks down the aisle to start the show, and she kind of like brushed by me, and I just had like watching her.
Have you? Oh, note to self, Gubs. Have you guys ever sung the duet from the show together?
Are you asking? Sorry, I assumed Gubby would answer, even though of course she would.
That's why I was waiting for like, okay, and Gabby's on the line.
You and your sister.
I mean, it's sort of like a love story, so it's kind of like
kind of where I was going.
That's creepy. Okay, I'm checking out.
Maybe for Drood. Maybe in Drood. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe.
So this is a song called Gold from the show, which is one of my favorite songs. And, you know, the lyrics talk about love is like gold and sunlight is like gold and tear your curtains down. And as we're kind of spending a lot of time indoors staring at the window, I've been really loving this song. So. And I love her so, I wouldn't trade her for gold. Walking on moonbeams, and I was born with a silver spoon. And I'm gonna be me. Oh, I'm gonna be free. I'm walking on moonbeams, staring out to sea. If the door be closed, then a roll from the star. Tear your curtains down, for sunlight Oh, do what you can do. Walking on moonbeams, staring out to sea. 'Cause if your skin was soiled, oh, how long do you think before they start taking? If your life was gold, how long do you think they stay living? And I love her so, wouldn't trade her for gold.
Ah, beautiful.
Lovely.
Ah,
Jake.
beautiful. So who are you singing about when you sing that song, mister?
Well, I will say that the first, my wife's first musical was Once, and
Really?
yeah, we had a great time seeing it.
And I've only met her once.
Tonight,
Like
in fact,
just
right?
tonight. So
Yeah.
we have so many things in common. That's gorgeous. Jake, and Gabby also put up a note during that it's weird. That really, I have to admit, it was a bit of a weird question to ask if they had played or sung.
I didn't think it through.
It was a little bit upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. It upset me a little bit. I'm gonna be okay.
It upset your sister. You probably didn't see this.
She's
Jake.
like, it's weird.
Weird.
Hey, I just look.
I was like, did I? Yeah, I was like,
I'm busy orchestrating a lot of things.
like, and I love her so. Like,
I'm busy orchestrating lots of things. I'm big girl in France.
That's why I said there's those twins. There's those twins in Drood that play lovers too, right? That's that's the only role I'd ever. It's a ridiculous role, but that's the only role I would see you.
I'm going to move the creepy thing I put. Move it along. We have another beautiful $100 donation from Dr. Barry Lever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great show tonight, Jake. So thank you, Dr. Lever. Thank you. So Jake, I'm mindful that we got about 10 minutes.
Dr. Lever, yes.
Dr. Lever, my apologies. Thank you for the correction. You were part of the musical, The Carole King Story. And was that the first musical work that you had been with, and of course a Broadway production, from its inception, from its development?
Was that the first time? Definitely on a large scale, certainly a musical of that size. Yeah, it was the first time being there in the ground floor and being part of the development and the workshops. And doing the tryout and then coming to Broadway.
And of course, you played Jerry. What's Jerry's last name again?
Goffin.
Right, Jerry Goffin, who was Carole King's true life husband.
Yes.
So there were some interesting insights. Again, I'm giving you this is the spoiler. This is like Boy Falls from the Sky, like apocalyptic. But
I just played a clip of my show, you
could, but it's
an hour, and then everyone would.
You got to work with the beautiful. You got to work with the beautiful Jessie Mueller, and another performance that Gavin and I had the privilege of seeing you do on Broadway. What would you say was one of the highlights of that experience, and also what was one of the most challenging parts of that experience? You could give us both sides. Maybe start with challenge.
It's just so funny. I feel like we're going through my solo show.
Well, we kind of are. So thanks for the feeder material. But
it's okay. It was my dream to originate a role on Broadway. So everything about it was, after doing Spider-Man, it was really just an incredible time in my life. Jessie, the whole cast, they were astounding. Every single person, every single standby and understudy, everyone was just unbelievable. So it was just amazing to be part of it. I mean, at that time, I had the character that I played, Jerry Goffin, slowly sort of became the antagonist in the story, sort of the villain in the musical. And it wasn't sort of how it started, but as it developed more and more in terms of the structure of the show and in terms of some of the questionable things that he did to Carol, he cheated on her. He was bipolar and because of that, as they developed the show more and more, I would get booed regularly after the show.
Yes.
The character would get booed, like the villain boo, like the Javert in Les Mis boo, the Bill Sykes boo.
The full panto, get off the stage, Sheriff of Nottingham boo.
Dichotomy of feelings, because I was living my dream, and then I was getting booed. And it was just like pants down. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
So I what a strange thing to struggle with.
Yeah, of course.
But I went back to the show. This was a few years ago, and it was kind of amazing to do the show and then leave and then come back and really like reclaim everything and really appreciate it. And
did you and Shalina perform together?
Yes, when I went back to the show, I got to do it with Shalina. So that was
Canadians.
Was a pleasure. Cool. Yeah, 2 Canadians putting on Brooklyn accents.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The Carole King musical.
Oh, sorry.
So what was one of the most beautiful parts of that journey for you when you?
I mean, besides just I feel like I hopefully answered that question. Like,
you did,
just getting to do it was amazing. I mean, getting to meet Carole King and Jerry Goffin, and
right. Did you boo him? Like, did you?
Yeah, I was like, boo! Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, Carole King, Jerry, not to like have a dark turn, but Jerry passed away while I was playing the role.
Oh wow!
These are the realities, right?
This responsibility to sort of not make him the villain and to kind of continue.
Sure.
But Carol used to call me to check in on me. Like, I'd have these kind of amazing conversations with this like wise aunt of mine. Oh,
that's amazing.
Happened to be Carole King, and she'd leave me her number. I'd call her back. She'd say hello, and I'd go, "Hello, this is Jake from Beautiful, the Carole King musical." And she'd go, "I know who you are, Jake." I don't know how to talk to you.
That's so kind of her. She must have known that the role could be taking its emotional and mental toll on you, I suppose.
Of course.
She did. I mean, that was the thing that she kept saying to me was, "Don't make him the villain." So I think,
that's a reflection of her as a person, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What a legacy. She's incredible.
Jake in Alignment, I mean, as you said, not dark turns, but realities. So having spent a significant part in recent years in New York City, we're doing your craft. Now we look at the news, and New York City is the epicenter of the coronavirus right now, which is why we are doing this. So what's it like to watch the news and see the craziness of the outbreak of this virus in Manhattan, the very place you called home for so much time in the last recent years?
I mean, everything about this is insane, right? It's hard to wrap your head around it in a really rational way.
Of course.
A bunch of my close friends in New York have tested positive, and a bunch of them are dealing with it right now.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking about them a lot right now. Yeah. But like everyone, they're doing their best, right? Yeah. They're trying to stay positive. They're trying to get through it best they can. They're having the faith that we're all going to get through this.
Yeah, thank you.
And, taking it one day at a time.
That's beautiful. Well, send them our love and our light as best we can. Positive things. 2 more donations. A beautiful a $50 donation from Alan and Laura. How do I pronounce it? Lever.
Lever.
Yes. And they said wonderful show, and another $100 donation from Mr. Stefan Loberg. with all the best from the Lowbergs. So thank you for your.
Oh, how lovely! Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess that's the Losbergs. This is a guess.
Look at me. I just want to, and this is the plight. This is the plight of a supply teacher who works for the Toronto District School Board, who gets attendance, and we have such a beautifully diverse cultural city that some of the names, like, they fall off the attendance sheet. They're so low. So I pride myself, but I'm failing epically tonight.
Phonetics are one thing, you know. Like, this is what I found in my backpack was my phonics workbook from when I was in grade 2, and I remembered the rules of syllabism, which as I described as the word napkin, it uses rule 5 when 2 or more consonants come between. So, you know, phonics counts. It's something we don't often see as much anymore, but it was one of my favorites. Just want to bring that back. That's my message for education tonight. Bring back phonics.
And I'll be working on them. I'm going to borrow the book.
Phonics.
Well, listen, as we are drawing close to this beautiful hour with you, Jake, I want to just thank you. We've still got another song to sing, but I want to thank you and the 5 other guests that preceded you this week for sharing their beautiful artistry and their generous spirit and helping raise funds for AFC Helps. We're continuing into our 3rd week, Ryan, on Monday. Tomorrow we get our day off, but we've got a fantastic artist. She is Miss Jessica Sherman,
star of Toronto's Evan Hansen,
and the U.S. national.
And she's on the tour
with Alessandro. Yes, so we are excited to have Jessica join us on Monday. We've just had another $100 donation from Jane Smythe. I'm assuming that this is also family.
That's a good one, Jane Smythe.
Enjoying Big Brother.
I want to check the syllable rule on that name.
I have an amazing family. They're huge.
Well, I actually just wanted to say that, you know, like, again, you know, keeping it authentic, you know, to the outside world, seeing, you know, a very enviable career. You started as a youth and working in film and television and starring on Broadway. But the thing that I've always admired for the very limited amount of time I've actually known you personally, as I said, my first entry into your family was with your sister. You've always maintained this just very humble, you're Jake, or Jakey, as you've affectionately allowed me to call you. And that's a testament to your family culture and the beautiful people that you are. You do solid work, but you're first and foremost a solid person. Thank you for sharing that with us tonight. Yeah. That was really and now it's time for you to sing your final song.
Will you sing us a final song?
Of course I will.
Well, thank you. So excited.
Wait,
That's
you got
Ryan.
For a second.
Phonics.
I'm in tune here.
There's still, I've still got empty pages in here. If anybody wants to come over when we're allowed to phonics with me, fully up for it.
Jake's okay. Yeah, Jake's great and Ryan's okay. Oh, thank you, Theatre Collingwood and Ms. Angus. We appreciate your support.
Thank you. All right, Jake, let's hear your tune.
I would love to come to Collingwood.
Yeah. Oh, really quickly before you sing, are you still on the books for Mervish, off Mervish?
So, I mean, yes. My show has been asked to be part of the off Mervish season of next year. So,
okay.
We're hoping that that we're going to be in a place where theater is going to be possible. That people are going to be able to come together, and so that'll be hopefully next March.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sing us out, beautiful man. What are you going to sing for us?
Okay, so this is this is a Bobby Womack song. It's called "Please Forgive My Heart." We're doing a little risk here because it's not exactly musical theater, but I'm not exactly musical theater, so it felt right. This, the words in this song, "Please Forgive My Heart." I've been feeling day-to-day anxiety some days and feeling okay other days, and so I just thought the words in this song were kind of like, it's okay to feel however you're feeling right now. So, I could try to say I'm sorry, but that won't be quite enough to let you know the pain that I'm feeling, and it just won't let up. It feels like the sky is falling, and the clouds are rolling in. Where did I lose control? And where did it all begin? Please forgive my heart. It's not that the problem lies anywhere in there. I'm a liar. I'm in a dream, going my own way, with nothing to rely on. And the dawn is a silent witness to the blindness of the night. We see our reflection so clear in the blush of morning light. Time goes so slowly when you face your burden down, and the turn is not commuted. Oh, it just lingers without a sound. And please forgive my heart. It's not that the problem lies anywhere in there. I'm a liar. I'm in a dream. I'm going my own way, with nothing to rely on. Please, oh, 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 nothing to rely on.
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you,
was
Jake.
fantastic.
Guys,
Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing.
thank you.
Yeah,
That really was
I
fantastic.
loved that. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Jake.
Whose song is that? Wait, whose song is that?
It's written by Bobby Womack, and it's inspired by this cover by this Canadian band called Bahamas that I love.
Nice.
Amazing.
Thanks, Jake. That was amazing.
Well, Jake, we are super grateful to you for sharing your authenticity, your talent, your stories. We are abundantly grateful to all of our gorgeous owners. Thank you to everyone.
My
Thank
wife.
you, Vanessa.
Hey.
Thank you guys. I thank you guys so much for all you're doing to help raise money for the Actors Fund of Canada,
It's the
for
least
giving
we
some
can do.
actors something to do and be nervous about every day, and just for spreading some love right now. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well, we reiterate, please share your love and light with your friends in New York that are struggling with the virus currently.
And the pleasure was all ours. Thank you.
So, boys, you stay put. I'll just show this out. Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
thanks, Big Girl and Friends.
Good night, everyone.
Number 3, and we'll see you on Monday.